Hello everyone, today we're going to brief you about Reminiscence, so let's start this video full of spoilers. Reminiscence. Reminiscence takes place in a distant future world in which technology, growth, and societal decline are inextricably linked by the most basic human nature. The film follows an army veteran who works as a private investigator, sifting through people's memories with a special machine. The movie begins in Miami, Florida, which has been flooded as a result of a natural disaster. In the subsequent upheaval, wealthy people known as barons bought up the dry land and built dams to keep themselves safe from floods, leaving the sunken coast and the remainder of the city to fend for themselves. The unbearable heat has resulted in a primarily nocturnal populace that makes a meager livelihood in taverns and businesses that are now rivers and are navigated by boats. Nick, played by Hugh Jackman, and Emily Watts Sanders run a facility that allows people to visit their memories, which are shown in a 3D computer hologram as the individual relives them, drugged in a water tank. They occasionally work for the police, leading depositions into people's recollections to aid in the construction of cases. Once the memories have been seen, they are saved on cards that resemble small, clear floppy disks and kept in a padlocked vault. Nick says that the records are kept for everyone's safety, so there's no chance of any mishap. May, a lovely woman, appears one day and asks them to assist her in finding her keys, which they do, but she leaves behind a pair of earrings. Nick locates her and the two embark on an epic love affair. However, it soon becomes evident that the love we're witnessing grow is actually Nick reliving a past. May has vanished in the today, and Nick is plagued by her absence. He starts looking for her, but Watts is concerned about him and their failing company. Even their regular Elsa hasn't shown up to relive her past with her old lover. The district attorney has been unsuccessful in prosecuting one of the barons, Walter Sylvan, but a judge has determined that all of his land would go to his son Sebastian and his wife Tamara. Nick, on the other hand, is unconcerned because all he cares about is finding May. He discovers that she was a drug addict in New Orleans through memory hunting, and he travels there to check whether she has returned. Instead, he encounters St. Joe, a drug dealer with a chip on his shoulder, and the two have a near-fatal fight, which is saved by Watts. Watts subsequently admits to Nick through her recollection that May came to her the day before she left, and they had an honest conversation in which she recounted her past, and Watts admitted she has an estranged daughter. The stolen card belonged to Elsa, and Nick realizes that the man Elsa had been reliving in her flashbacks was none other than the now deceased Walter. After an argument with Watts, he dismisses her. Nick rushes out to find Elsa, only to discover that she has been murdered and her son has been kidnapped by a beautiful red-headed woman who Nick rightly recognized as May. Cyrus, a violent cop turned henchman who has been in prior flashbacks, assists him in locating May. He kidnaps Cyrus after a deadly fight and investigates his memories, which expose the truth. May tells her narrative in Cyrus's memory. She was an addict who had been forced to set up Nick by Cyrus in order for them to steal Elsa's memories and find out where she and her son were on Walter's orders. May, on the other hand, fell in love with Nick. She performed the mission, but Walter had already died, and Sebastian wanted his half-brother out of the way, so he ordered the executions of both of them. May followed Cyrus to Elsa and saved her son from being murdered. When Cyrus inquires about where she's taken the youngster, she responds, "You know, I already told you, it's the only location I could think of to feel safe," implying that she is aware that Nick would eventually discover this recollection and that she is speaking with him. She took him to a secluded house on the river where she'd been saved by the owner, a lone woman named Frances, a story she told Nick in a vulnerable time. She then overdoses and throws herself out a window, knowing that the only way to keep the boy safe is to lose access to her memory. Nick raises the machine's voltage, frying Cyrus's brain and permanently imprinting this memory in his mind. He then travels to Sebastian, where an entire universe has been created to prevent Tamara from losing her mind and reliving a happier time with Walter. Nick confronts Sebastian, informing him that he knows he sent Cyrus to kill Elsa and the boy, but it's too late now because he's already told the cops where to locate him and is safe. Nick then travels to Watts' new workplace to inform her of what has happened. He explains that he made a deal with the DA to get away with intentionally frying Cyrus's brains. He is imprisoned in his own recollections of this story, which he delivers to the listener in a film noir style. Watts, now a grandmother, is checking on an elderly Nick who is still in the tank, replaying his brief romance with May until his death, ostensibly determined to die without ever experiencing the real world. This is presented as a conclusion that provides the main character with some semblance of what he desires. Rather than leaving the underworld, Nick chooses to spend eternity staring back at May, engulfing himself in the final moments before she is gone to him forever. It's up to you to decide whether or not that's a happy ending.